Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the live stream. I hope my sound is okay. If it's not, I'm sure you guys will be letting me know in the side chat in about 3 seconds. Speaking of which, let's bring the side chat up. So how's everyone doing tonight? I would like to welcome you to the 7th of February edition of the Beer Blades and Bushcraft live stream, where we talk about beer and we talk about blades, and we do sometimes talk about bushcraft. If you are watching us time shifted to tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, thank you. I love knowing that those eyes are on my content even after the fact. If at any point tonight you really love what's happening, I invite you to drop me a smiley thumb. If at any point tonight you kind of hate what's happening, that's all right. The frowny thumb works as well. And if you want to take a more active role in supporting the channel, as so many in the side chat already have, then I invite you to take a look at the join button just under the video window. That will show you the 2 tiers of membership available and what you get for your hard-earned money. Tonight we are going to be talking about outdoors nostalgia, camping nostalgia. Am I nostalgic because I'm a 50-year-old man? Or am I nostalgic for other more magical reasons? I don't know, but as I have said before on this channel and in Russell's Discord and stuff, I have an appreciation for like mid-century, mid-20th century tools and gear and stuff from before as well. And I also have a warm feeling towards the stuff that we used when I was a kid camping with my dad. But before we get to that, I just want to see if my sound is okay, see what you guys are saying, if I'm 5x5 or if I'm all 6s and 7s. And I want to say hi to everyone who is here. So let us take a little look, shall we? Oof. Wow, am I already behind on the chat? We've only been live streaming for like 2 minutes, guys. Oh, Canadian dropped in early with a man with no knife is a man with no life. It reminds me of how in Sweden it used to be like a kid would get their first knife at like 8. And if you didn't have your little pocket knife or little more or whatever on you, you were sort of considered to be undressed for a long, long, long time. So Linda drops up with, so was a woman with no knife? That's an interesting question. We need to develop some women-specific versions of these sayings, I think. And there's Kristen. Christy is a channel member. You know what I'm about to say, and you're all going to groan or roll your eyes or whatever, but personal hero of mine, because you members are helping to keep the lights on around here. Which reminds me, I almost forgot to put that light on before coming online. So, that's just the way it is, hey? So, yeah, and I say hi to Linda and to Canadian, otherwise known as Jerry. Boom, 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 boom. It's just, there's Christy. Yeah, Canadian. It's all just Christy, Canadian, and Linda. Oh, there's Marcus. Hi there. How's it going, Marcus? Nice to see your name popping up in my side chat. Excuse me. There's Excuse Me. Excuse Me is also a channel member. Personal hero. And he's saying hi to everyone. Says, I'll be fine. So I guess that means that, well, this is before I was even on. Yeah, this is like a minute before I came on. So nobody heard me yet at that point. Destiny in the house saying hi to everyone. Driving, okay. Driving and listening. Get home safe, or to wherever it is you're going, Destiny, get there safe. Jerry is working, paying his taxes. You and me both, brother. Hey, there's Grace. How's it going, Grace? Hello to you, too. It's all just hellos so far. No Melbeck for me. For a bit. Licorice tea tonight. Okay, I also have some tea. My taste in tea is very basic. I'm into the Earl Grey. I'm into the English breakfast. I'm into straight up black orange pekoe. So I got that. Ooh. Shall we discuss the beer for tonight? Okay, so Nobel Beck for Linda. Who else is drinking something with me tonight? Who's got a beer or a wine or something in their fist? Who's doing it? Hey, David's here. How's it going, Mr. Evans? Thank you for your help with that top secret information the other night, David. Carol's here. Nice. Nice to see you. So we got 25 people watching now and only 16 thumbs ups. You guys are cutting me deep here. Hey, there's Hike with Mike in the house. Nice to see you. Everyone's just saying hi. Everyone's just getting along so well. It's just so nice to see. There's Charles and Annie. How's it going? How are things down in the Philippines tonight? Today for you. There's Russell. How's it going, Russell? How you doing? What's that from? Oh, that was from Friends, wasn't it? Ian the Weblord and Russell and Charles and Annie are all channel members, so they're all personal heroes of mine. Am I caught up with the hellos and the highs and the who's and the hats? Hats? What? It looks like it. David is doing God's work there, reminding people to thumbs up my content. The things that I appreciate that don't cost anything are the comments and the thumbs ups. Sometimes even more than the subs. Yeah, the conversation is probably the best. I love watching what you guys. Sometimes you guys are taking the piss out of each other, and it makes me kind of laugh. Okay, David says that my sound is 5x5, which is exactly what I wanted to hear. Hey, before I dive into the beer and stuff, so for the longest time, I have not been able to get this mic to work with Microsoft Teams, which like I was going to do a spectacular presentation at work. And of course, it's all Microsoft Teams. And like at my meetings, my governing board meetings for my daughter's school, it's all on Teams. So I haven't been able to use my mic. So I've been like pulling things together to get sound going for my meetings and stuff. Saturday, I couldn't get it to work with FaceTime on Mac OS either. And so I was like, there's a similarity happening there. And I figured out that when the mic is not plugged into the first input on a sound box, certain apps don't recognize it. Certain apps like Microsoft Teams and Apple FaceTime. So that has no bearing on what we're talking about here tonight. But I'm over the moon about having finally fixed something and it being such a silly little fix that nowhere in the Microsoft documentation or forums or anything could I find an answer. And in the FaceTime forums and stuff, it took me a while, but finally I found someone who's like, yeah, I'm having this problem, and here's what I did about it. And it sort of goes back to what I was talking about years ago when I was explaining why I started this channel with a Canon 60 way back when. And it's because, and that camera did not have a flippy screen. So when I was filming my videos, I had to have my laptop with me so I could see myself for framing and stuff. And if it was a rainy day, I had to rig up plastic. Oh. But like every time I didn't bring the laptop with that camera, my framing was off. I did a video on like my favorite fire starting tool, and my framing is completely off. I'm like, cut off. But the reason I picked that camera instead of something fancier or whatever is that at that point, that was like the official camera of indie filmmaker B teams, second camera. And I have come to the point, this is why I play a Fender bass too most of the time, is that if I take stuff that is bog standard and I have any kind of problem, and I look online, 5 people have had the problem, and 3 of them have solved it. So anyways, that was just, that's a thought process that sort of started clicking when I was like, oh, I finally got this to work. That's fun. Anyways, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here tonight. I just want to say there's Country Boy. I also love Tuesdays, although Dennis didn't go on tonight, I don't think. I think he's out in the bush. I also love Tuesdays, Country Boy. I look forward to these little chitty chatties. Kind of oh, hold up. They got a knife today. Not there how I'm not sure how I may use it. What did you get, David? I just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. That Ron and Kelly say hi. How's it going, Ron and Kelly? Welcome to the side chat. Nice to see you. Canadian says, if a man is all alone in the forest and there's no woman around, is he still wrong? I shouldn't have shown that. Jerry. Lord Vader in the house. What a night. How many days till Christmas, Mr. Lord Vader? Steve Grounds in the house. How's it going? I'm looking for the knife. I'm not seeing it. That David got. Yeah, I figured that out, David. I'm not sure how you're going to use it. So gotta know what it is. Because I'm all curious. Jess King in the house. How's it going all the way over there? Jess, you doing all right? How's the weather? Time for a hot cup of tea, says Lord Vader. I will join you with that tea. Oh, I got to open that beer. Hold on. Tea's a good drink. Such a good drink. I needed tea today, man. I'll tell you, I had a rough day. This live streaming really balances out those rough days. Excuse me, has got the whiskey going. I only have the blue label here because I organized my whiskey. If Al's not around and Russell comes on later, I might deke out to get, deke into the back room to pick up a whiskey of some sort. So yeah, excuse me. What whiskey are you having tonight? Grace is having beer. What are you drinking? Hey, look who's here, homie on the line. You having a drink with us tonight, homie? David Evans is drinking lemonade. You are a more patient man than I am, considering all. Ian's having some cheap iffy whiskey. Going off the spelling that you've got there is either American or Irish. The worst whiskey I have ever tasted was an Irish, the Proper 12. I did a review of it on my other channel, and it's so far the worst mark I've ever given. That bottle's never gonna get finished. It's at the halfway mark, and I'm still angry at it. Just taking a look here. Homie's having the ice water. Good enough for me. Can't go wrong with water. Hot in the Philippines today, I can well imagine. I'm just seeing if I'm like sort of caught up with everyone who's with us tonight. Country Boy, yes. Dave is diving out. He may be back later. All right. See you later, mister. Okay. Oh, boom. Shawnee. How's it going? You made cheesy chicken enchiladas with corn tortillas and a red sauce, a side of cilantro lime rice. That sounds delish. Delish. Don't get angry at the whiskey. It's Proper 12 is an improper whiskey. It's a pile of shift disguised as a bottle of whiskey. So I'm gonna pour the beer, and then we're gonna talk about what I wanted to talk about tonight, because I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys about it. Got my my off-grid cabin glass. I don't know if that cabin's really off-grid, but to me, all true cabins are off-grid. By Kiefer Glass, and the beer tonight is London Russe Anglaise, or English Red Ale, by Le Bilboquet. Bilboquet is, I think it might be, it's in Saint-Hyacinthe, so it's pretty damn close to where I live. I'm like an hour and a half away, small town, and so this is an English Red. This amber beer stands out by its great malt taste, reminiscing of a loaf of bread. Okay, this is obviously written in French and then poorly translated. With the English hops giving it herbaceous and earthy aromas. A great classic that showcases the incredible smell, taste, and look of the malt Maris Otter, cultivated on the British Isles. Cheers, mate. The IBU is low. Residual sugar is low to medium. And this beer has the Independent Brewers logo on it, so it is not secretly a large company, and it hasn't been bought by a large company. Should I be like singing the royal anthem or something? I know that in the UK they just call that the national anthem, but here it's called the royal anthem. God save our gracious king. Wow, that's still weird. Give it a sniffy sniff. Ooh, it smells malty, malt sugar. It smells kind of dark. Looks kind of dark. Oh, it's lovely. Nice, deep amber, kind of on the red side. So maybe more of an auburn, if it was a head of hair. Head, right? I'm not funny. Never mind. The arrival's great, but then it sort of waters out a little bit. Like, it doesn't water out, but it's thinner than I was expecting. Nice flavors, though. Malty, caramelly. I just wish it had a bit more body to it, like a better mouthfeel. It's a little oily. It's not bad. It's not bad. I might buy this again. Ingredients. Wait, do we have it in English? Yes. Water, barley malt, hops, yeasts. May contain wheat, oats, and rye. The grains are Maris Otter, that's the hops. Crystal Light, also hops. Victory, malt torréfié. Oh, I'm reading the French side. Roasted barley. Oh no, grains, Maris Otter, Crystal Light, Victory, roasted barley, hop, East Kent Golding. Okay. I do not know anything about any of that. I'll tell you later. What I do want to talk about tonight on this most nostalgic of nights. Hold on. How do people handle homesickness when on vacation or camping? Do you just plan shorter trips? I have, on occasion, been somewhere and spent the whole time in the hotel room or the tent feeling horrible. And that always makes me feel like I've not only wasted my money, but I'm wasting my experience, you know? I think when I'm really not feeling well, I want to be in my own bed. Like, I get real, like, homebody, like, when I'm not feeling well. Also, like, if I'm lying in bed and I've got a wicked headache and nausea or anything like that, every regret that I try to never feel just pounces on me. Do any of you guys get that? Like, when you're lying in bed and you really don't feel well, it's like every stupid thing you've ever done just comes to prey on you, or every decision you've ever made and deep underneath you've been sort of second guessing, it just bubbles to the surface like an angry, like, lava coming up, the lava of self-destruction. I don't know, do you guys get that? Because, oh man, lying there feeling like garbage, and it's just hating life because I feel so stupid about everything I've ever done. Please tell me at least someone out there feels the same, otherwise I'm going to feel real silly. Country Boy is getting right into what I wanted to talk about tonight. His nostalgic outdoors memories are a 2-room green canvas frame tent and the stink of white gas lantern and stove. Those memories will be with me until I croak. We only have 23 watching now. Oh no, I see 26. So we started bouncing around. It's because David left. So, you know, if he left, at least somebody else just left. It's like, hey, David's not here. I'm not. No, I gotta go. Forget about it. Homie got a new knife as well. Man, everyone's got a new knife. What'd you get? I love it. Excuse me, says homie, you and Dave can now swashbuckle. Canadian says nostalgic. Well, I'd say they're all pretty good, even the ones with little trials and tribulations. Ones I've taken with my daughters are pretty high on the list. Yeah, I get that. If he's actually Aberfeldy 12 year, that's not an FE. I think that's a 40%. So I think that's a 40%. If you take a look on the bottle, maybe it's a 43. But I mean, it's still a pretty legit whiskey. I don't have it right now. I don't think I've ever actually bought it. I've tried it at other people's houses, but I've never actually bought a bottle. Is it weird that some of my nostalgia is for stuff I didn't experience? Like I sort of lump my love of older tools in with my nostalgia, even though they're the old tools I have, or the old school tools I have, are better quality than the stuff I ever used while camping. Perfect example. My sinuses are going again. This Walter's axe, by the scroll mark on the handle, the width, the slenderness of the handle, and the stamp, the Walter stamp. This is probably somewhere between 1966 and 1968. This is a better axe than we ever used when I was camping with my parents, right? We had whatever was the Canadian Tire Special at the time, which, let's face it, was probably an Orland, which these days people give good money for, but at that point it was just like a Canadian Tire level axe, right? Don't get me wrong, I'd still like to find an original Norland still in the packaging. I just don't want to spend that many dollars. But look at how narrow that handle is, guys. Look at that handle. Look at that haft. Some very big ticket axes do not have this nice a haft these days. I've taken all the paint off. I left the paint in the scroll mark. It doesn't really show that much here, but just, sort of as a salute to its history. On the other side it says Hickory. It's another scroll mark. I have a vintage mask on it. Look at that. Look at that. There's a springiness to this era and earlier of haft that just isn't there anymore. I mean, this is not a straight... Oh, you can't see that. It's not a straight 90-degree grain. It's probably about 40 degrees, but it feels so good in the hand. So good in the hand. Such a nice axe. And I found it in the garage when I bought this place. And then I restored it. And, that's a really old school axe. But it's also an old axe. This is a very old school Canadiana knife, right? You guys know what this is. Russell's got one. I've got one. I think David's got one. Right, this is the number one. The Groman, the Russell number one Canadian belt knife, many people call it. It's got the old school sheath, right? This particular knife is not old. I bought it brand new, but it hasn't changed since this design was first in as 1952, 57. I mean, there was a long development process done in conjunction with trappers and hunters in the north. It's a product of its time. It looks like its time. Mid 20th century design and And because it went through such a long period of development, that weird looking handle, it was beautifully thought through. This knife looks crazy, but the ergonomics are second to none. You know? And it's just, that's a time when that's what it took to, you know, that axe and this knife weren't built to be a great axe and a great knife. It's just, that's the way you made it. You made an axe and you made a knife. But the quality baseline was so much higher than we're sort of brought up to expect these days, you know? Just gotta mute myself for a sec. Back in business. You know, the same is true of, like, you know how probably the pinnacle of postmodern folding saws is the Agua Canyon, right? The Boreal 21 or the 24. I think there's also a 16 or 18. But how long was a folding saw like a wooden buck saw? Even before sort of the metal bow saw, right? The folding buck saw. I've got one sitting right here, in fact. It's not an old saw, but it's a very traditional design, which maybe I should have taken out, but you know, it's, you guys have seen this saw on screen. This is the wait, which one is this? I think this is the one that Jody made. Yeah. Like, I've got two wooden ones. This one's very traditional. I got another one that's a much more up-to-date take. And then I got my Agua. The Agua is the easiest one of the three to unfold and use. The more modern, whatever it is, bear paw design, bearskin design. It's got a lot of really nice elements to it, and it's probably the most comfortable of the three. But there's something time-honored about the one that hasn't been updated, the one that is the same design you would have seen a century or two ago. It even goes down to stuff like, you know, this is a fantastic tree ID book, okay? The photos are fabulous. The text is easy to read. The pages are extremely well organized, like, so that you can find your information very, very quickly. But this is the one I have the comfort for. This is an older design. It looks older. I mean, I don't know when this this one first came out, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably a few decades, maybe 4 or 5 decades. It says, for over 50 years, best in the field, golden field guides from St. Martin's Press. Does that mean that this book came out first 50 years ago? No. But it does sort of, everything inside this book is a style that I have seen in books from 50s, 60s, 70s. It started to sort of update a bit. And there's just something about this book that I turn to before the other one. The other one I absolutely think is a better book. But I've had this one in my pocket on a lot of trips. Like, it's been beaten to hell, and I do not have any problem doing that. This very modern, very beautiful one, it's portable-ish. But I don't have the same sort of, it doesn't have the same homey feel as this one does. And, you know, here's an even older one that I don't bring anywhere because it's falling apart. Like, I'm serious, it's falling apart. I like this one too, but I think because I've had the St. Martin's one for the longest, that's the one I always turn to. I'm just organizing my books here. I just want to make sure I'm not But like, I want to reference what Shawnee said here. Um, when I was a kid, we had a pop-up camper trailer. You know, that thing where it's just a box on two wheels, and then when you get there, the front and back of the trailer sort of flip open, and then this roof comes up. And we had a Coleman stove. We had one of those lanterns that you had to pump. We had those mosquito coils that smell bad. The anti-bug stuff was musk oil. What's it called? Musk oil. Yeah, right. Like all these smells that I don't want my daughters experiencing, because they're all like, they're all petroleum smells, right? It's all gases. It's all like poisonous stuff. But I still have this bottomless warmth for those smells and those sounds and those pieces of equipment, because that's what I grew up with. Cheesy Canadian Tire axe. Bushcraft knife? What are you talking about? Maybe there's a Bowie knife. At least once we had like a carpentry utility knife, because that's what we had. So like, this thing is not nostalgia because of a connection to my childhood. This is nostalgia because of a connection to an aesthetic that I associate with sort of classic Canadian outdoorsmanship. And it can go earlier than that as well. I mean, how many of us had our philosophies built from this guy, right? Kephart, Nesmik. Somewhere I have the Nesmik book as well. But how many of us see this era of stuff as being the good old days, kind of. And look, I do know people who camp with all of the latest, lowest weight, most high tech, blah 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 blah. And yeah, that's fine. In fact, they can probably hike their stuff further into the woods than I can. Absolutely. And I do have some of that kind of stuff. I have some nylon and blah blah blah. But I when I think of the outdoors, I think of canvas and wool and leather and merino wool and bamboo, because I'm not, a complete throwback. When it comes to keeping warm or temperature regulation, that's where I kind of think that new tech is best. But hold on. Oh yeah, we had one of those pop-ups as well, Shawnee, for a long time. We sold it when my parents split up, and my mom, my sister, and I moved here to Quebec, and my dad stayed in Manitoba for a while and then moved to British Columbia. Canadian says, I remember one camping trip in cadets. Oh, I remember a bunch of cadets camping trips. We built a bridge and some poop disturbed, changed out of the water bucket to put out the fire with gasoline, and whoosh. Yikes. Oh, homie got a Bark River. The ultralight field knife. You got some money in that, man. Those are... Barker does make a nice knife, though. I'm going to wait. Russell can bring himself on this time, because I think I sort of jumped the gun on him last time. Nice. So you're well equipped there. Russell's just smiling at me. I'm not. I'm going to let you bring yourself on, because I don't want to surprise you like I did last time.
Sure.
Nice little title you got there.
Yeah, well, I've worked long and hard for that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, to reap the benefits when you've, done the work, put the work in.
Hey, if you could be like me, I'm sure you'd like to.
I would have more videos done.
Yeah. So would I.
Yeah, I like it, Ian. Yes, exactly. Nostalgia, old stuff that worked and kept working forever, not like today's products with planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence is infuriating because if a TV these days is designed to last 5 years instead of 40, rebate me the money. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sell me a TV for 5 years.
Oh, geez, I wonder how long until like TVs go like subscription, right?
Oh yeah,
And pay $250 every year,
yeah.
and
And you can have this TV. Shawnee says, "No way! It was in the garage when you bought the house. That's amazing." Yeah, exactly. When I saw that act, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" I said. Oh look,
is that
who's
what you
here?
said?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I said Elvis. I said Peanut Trucker's here. How's it going, Mister?
Hey,
Okay.
Chris.
I think the battery on my mouse is going. I'm trying to like scroll down and it's not happening. There we go. There it
Try
says.
try that button on the side.
I hate it when that happens. The axe I keep in my 4-wheel, I found in a field and refurbished. It's kind of sentimental. You found it in a field. Nice. Man on the street who goes, Al asks, how many members do we have? I don't know how many members I have. I haven't checked that in a while. And I'm afraid to do anything with my mouse right now.
I'm one.
Yeah, you're one. I think Al's
I think
one.
that's. Oh,
So
Squeeze
that's
Me is a
2.
member.
Squeeze me, yeah, so that's 3.
Oh, Brave Green Moose.
Christy.
Christy.
Hey, there's Pam Bergman. Happy Tuesday, Pam.
Ian the Woodlord.
Yep.
So more than 2.
Yeah, we got more than 2, which is good. So how's it going, Al? So since Al's here, then I don't have to run off and find a whiskey. I've got one here for later.
I bought a new one today.
Yeah, what'd you get?
What I plan to do is pour it in the glass and then show you the glass and see if you can guess what it is.
I'm never gonna be able to guess what it is.
And you call yourself an expert. Come on.
It's probably not Blue Label. No, you found a bottle of Green Label just to taunt me, right?
I forget. The local store has a couple.
Right.
Johnny Walker's.
I was able to see how hot tents worked at Mew Lake. They spent that bitter cold night in hot tents. I wondered how they did. Hey, that's something I wanted to mention too. Like we have this idea that, you know, I want a canvas tent because that's how they used to camp and everything. But the canvas tent that we tend to buy these days is not the same one as guys like, you know, Kephart and Nesmuk used, right? Like they had that sort of, you know, the open fronted, you know, those, it's not a prospector tent. What are they called? Is it called a baker tent? The one where like you can lift the front out with 2 poles. Like,
are you asking me?
I'm asking everyone in the side chat. I think it's called a baker tent. But you know, like,
Yes.
yeah. In some ways, the way we do it now is better. But I'd kind of like to try out a baker tent at one point.
So you have to, you have to thank Al here. He just dropped 20 gift memberships.
Oh, I'm looking in the. Oh yeah, Al, look at that. Hold on.
And it looks like they all went out too.
Nice. Look at all them gifted memberships to everyone.
Nice. Let's see who's watching but not commenting. Vader, say anything earlier?
Yeah, he said some stuff.
There's Country Boy, Kelly Flynn.
Yeah, say Kelly Flynn.
Jennifer got in there. Way to go, Jennifer. I was giving out memberships.
Yeah. Weird. Sorry, like the side chat in StreamYard is not matching up at all with the YouTubes for me right now. Big Green Moose says, best summers ever were in a pop-up tent trailer bouncing around provincial parks. As I said, man, my first camping, my first 8 years of camping was in one of those pop-up tent trailers. I was just saying, oh, Destiny's gotten home. She's on the laptop. I could tell you something, Destiny. I would buy another laptop in a Montreal minute right now. David has gone back to the you know who's for the moment, but I think he said he might try to come back in later. Linda says my axe is stuck in a tree trunk. Have to remember to put it inside. Yeah, bring that in. You don't want it to rust up. Don't want it to rust up.
I I got an axe stuck in a piece of wood. I couldn't get it out.
Really?
I don't know what's wrong with it. Tell me what's wrong with an axe that, every single time you swing it to, like I'm chopping wood with it, every single time it just buried itself in the wood. The wood wouldn't split.
It's because you were trying to split wood with a chopping axe rather than a splitting axe. It's too narrow. It gets stuck in the wood. You need something with a thicker head to blast it apart.
Yeah, whatever, Jess.
Destiny loved camping Savage at the Faculté Saint-Jean at university. Such a great time and learning French too. Savage camping. Like it. I don't get to do enough of it. There's a real beauty to camping surrounded by nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know exactly what you're saying.
yeah. Yeah, you appreciate the surrounded by nobody, right, Russell?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, Big Green Moose says Baker it is. Yeah. Hold on. Hey there, country boy. Everyone's saying hi to each other. And everyone's saying thanks to Al. Linda, yeah, Dennis has an Esker tent. I think he has the same model that I want to get, the Classic 2. But just so many other things to take up my money. The winter tent and the summer canoe are both things that they're on my medium range plan. Shawnee says, this makes you think, what kind of nostalgia opportunities do I want to provide to my kids? Man, I'm thinking that all the time. Like I'm trying to get my kids into the woods as much as possible because that really developed a lot of, like a real good baseline of good memories for me. I remember once, I don't even know what age we were, but like my sister and I we weren't even teens yet. And we had one of these canvas buckets, water buckets that would fold flat, like an old school one, like thick canvas. And we were on our way to get water, and I crossed the little gravel road because it was a campsite, and my dad was not quite crossing yet, and my sister was in the middle, and the guy came around the corner on a bike and just took my sister right out. Fortunately, he took himself out as well, so teaches him to go, because he came around like way too fast. Just boom. He was on the floor. My sister was on the floor. I was like, what's going on? My dad's running over. She's crying. I haven't thought about that in like 30 years. Why are we talking about what? No.
I don't know.
Good old Al. Farting up the storm. Yuck. You guys. Pam says we still have our Coleman pop-up camper. Nice. Like, is it a vintage one, or are they still making things like that?
Is there a way to know? I mean, is there any changes to those pop-up
Yeah, well,
campers?
that's the thing, right? Well, yeah, it's probably made of like thinner metal now. Have I ever tried 40 Creek? I haven't actually. I see it at the SAQ all the time, but I haven't picked it up yet.
You haven't asked me about my nostalgic stuff.
Oh, I'm just trying to get to the end of the side chat. I'm going to be asking it with like a million questions.
Oh, okay.
Destiny had a massive canvas tent, military maybe, that we enjoyed in our backyard. Heavy as stuff, but stable in wind. All of my canvas tent camping has been in military tents when I was in the cadets. All of it. No stoves in those. They were like the big sort of the Arctic ones that you're supposed to pile snow up against, so that there's no wind gets in through the bottom. Big Green Moose is getting packed for hot tent hammock camping this weekend at Kawartha. Fingers crossed that we get a freak snowstorm this week. I love how bushcrafters and like winter campers have a wholly different view of freak winter storms than do people who have to dig their car out of a snowdrift. Um, yeah, Canadian knows what we're talking about. Those old military marquee tents were pretty cool. Okay, so Pam says theirs is 20 years old, but none of the fancy new stuff. A lot of people here have trailers. Interesting. I like Jennifer's uh, um, screen name. Peanut Trucker's wife, Jennifer. I like it. It's good. Al is getting pea-sized hail/snow right now.
Yeah, we had it earlier today.
Yeah, we had it as well. Getting home was a chore. Hey, Jess, we used to camp away from the provincial campsites. Dad hated crowds. We used to go up old logging roads. Can be dangerous, though. Some of those old roads still by used by logging trucks. Yeah, don't get taken out by a truck while you're camping. So, Russell, love of the outdoors, obviously. I mean, you live in the forest. Did you grow up with a cabin, or did you guys do camping?
Oh, yeah, I had an interesting situation. I lived in a very small town, and right behind our backyard was this big forest. So I was often out in the forest. But I guess as far as like camping goes, like we did car camping every summer,
Mm-hmm.
and we spent several summers, like every summer, like heading out west, and we camped in all the campgrounds all along the way.
Out west, like BC, or out west, like Alberta, or just Western Ontario?
Yeah, once we went out to Vancouver, and then once we only went to Alberta, and then once we only went to Manitoba for some stupid reason. But yeah, I still remember.
Did he freeze?
I'm not getting any. Anyway,
I, I
you
think
step
you
inside
froze.
your tent, and there's a certain sound that the tent makes, and there's a certain smell to it when you step in there for the first time, and
Yeah,
there's a feel to just how the floor is ballooned up a little bit. There's air
yeah, yeah.
underneath it.
I like it. Yeah,
That's all that stuff takes me right back.
yeah. And it's funny. I was talking about this today with someone.
What are you doing there, Granny?
I'm just, you know, you young whippersnappers. You're just. Um, it's crazy how much of my nostalgia is smell triggered. It's not crazy because
Mm.
for a lot of people, smell brings things back the way nothing else does. Um, but like I'll smell some of that old musk oil or whatever, or naphtha or whatever, and I just like I'm right back there as a kid. And camping was an adventure as a kid the way it's not as an adult, eh? Because you don't have to
Mm.
know any of the minutiae that it took to get the trip going or anything, right? It's just you pile into the car, the old like panel wagon or whatever, chock full of big honking heavy sleeping bags and stuff, and then you're in the forest and you're running around while your dad swears at a tent. It's like
Mm.
it's just a whole magical experience for kids the way. And I'm saying this as someone who still loves to hit the woods. It's just I'm the one who swears at the tent now.
Yeah.
Um, oops, that's not the one I. Oh, good. All right, Jennifer and I, we're wrapped up in our blankets. Everything is jumping too fast for me. This is what I wanted to click on. Quang Tron, goes camping with a poop load of Costco equipment and supplies and cooks up amazing meals. Puts our hot dogs on a stick to shame. You'll be able to take a look. Quang Tran. Hold on.
Tran is usually how
Tran.
it's pronounced.
Quang Tran. Let's not spill the beer. Because there's a lot of
That's nice.
expensive stuff on this tabletop. Quang.
All right, I'm gonna pour my scotch
Okay.
because it's at least 10 minutes old.
Al, am I pouring blue? You have the blue out tonight?
It says now with 50% less pee.
Oh,
There it is.
grants. Okay.
I like the bottle. I'm gonna say.
That's it's a very popular brand for a reason. You know,
Is it?
Grants. Yeah, it's like a classic choice. It's not it's not a snobby choice by any means. Not like Blue Label, but yeah, a lot of people drink Grants. I played
Yeah,
a
I'm not a
gig.
snob.
No, you're not a snob. You're not a snob. I'm not a snob. I'm such a snob. It's awful. I try not to be, but I'm not a snob personally. But my wife calls me an expensive bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's like damn you, woman. You know me so well.
I After seeing that tripod that you bought, I would have to agree with her.
Yeah.
You know, if I bought that tripod, like the next day, I'd be running it over with my ATV.
Oh yeah. I think I was only on the market for a tribe. Gonna start that sentence again because I was about to blow it. I was only in the market for a tripod because I've been breaking tripods, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with breaking $120 tripods every 2 years. I'm just gonna
So now
buy something solid. Buy once, cry once, because I'm not gonna throw it down the side of an escarpment like I have in the past.
so I don't follow your logic at all with that. Like, I keep breaking my tripod, so I thought I'd buy a really expensive one and break that instead.
No, it's because I keep buying like the $120 dollar newer special or
Yeah.
whatever, and what happens is, they're aluminium and plastic, but like I keep breaking the plastic off on the little clips on the legs and stuff. It's
Yeah.
minus 20 out, and I'm filming a whiskey video because snap. And the camera that I have on top of it is expensive enough that if the tripod goes over and I break the camera on a rock or something, I'm gonna feel real dumb about that tripod. So I was like, you know what? Let's buy something robust. And I have a lot of history with Manfrotto tripods because of film school, right? So like I associate them with something you can throw in the back of a truck and not worry about.
Yeah. I
Now,
guess, if you ever got around to making videos, and maybe you're getting out in the bush again.
yeah. Darth Vader says, I know. Al says grants made for tramps. The problem is, Al, that doesn't rhyme. That's a near rhyme. It's not a
Grants
real
for
rhyme.
grants for
59
ants.
degrees in Massachusetts, and we're wearing shorts and t-shirts breaking out the barbecue. I would be breaking out the ice pack at 59 degrees.
Lord Vader.
Lord Vader's in Massachusetts. So Massachusetts degrees, 59. So that's what, like 20 degrees Canadian? Is it? No. No, it can't be that high. 10-ish? I don't know. You guys should just join the metric family and make my life personally easier. I think Russell has frozen, but apparently Al has a bigger tripod. I'm unsure if I want to hear what he's actually talking about. Oh. We're just going to keep going and hope that Russell pops back in because I think he's either between satellites or lost his signal. Shawnee says, I didn't camp with my family or for Girl Scouts, but I did camp with my in-laws every year, and it was always a different campground. You didn't camp as a kid, Shawnee? When I got into a canoe, a few years ago now, I did a small 3-episode. Oops. Yeah, I think he lost his signal. I'll just keep talking. He'll pop back in when he can. 3, 4, 3. Yeah, maybe 4 episodes series. We were on the whatever that peninsula is called. You know, Tobermory is at the tip of in Ontario between Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. We were, anyways. I took my eldest daughter on a canoe trip out. We were on this little inlet, just in from Lake Huron, and it was my first time sitting in a canoe since I was like air cadet's age, like 18 maybe. My J stroke sucks. But you want to talk about nostalgia, man. That whole time I was like, I love this. I'm so happy. Remembering what it was like, you know, to be learning the canoe. Learning in a military context, excuse me, is not the same as taking lessons from, like, you know, Becky Mason or stuff like that. There's a real rough and ready element to everything you learn from an Air Force officer or three, you know? But yeah, it was really cool to be in a canoe again for the first time. And you know, if last time I was in a canoe I was around 18, and at that point I think I was 48, 49, 48. Do the math, right? Oh, Jeffrey, you didn't camp as a kid either. Interesting. Hold on. 15 Celsius. Okay. Wow, 15 Celsius? Hello. Hold on a second. Oops, okay. Was that minus 38 the other morning for Linda? Yeah, with the wind chill. We spent two days this week down at like minus 33 to minus 39. It was not comfortable. Excuse me, it says, here in BC, the wildlife seems to be bigger and badass. We grow them huge. The grizzlies are massive. Yeah, I definitely remember that because most of my non-childhood, like most of my teenage era, about 12 till about 18, not cadets related, was in BC, like Golden Ears, Manning Park, places like that. It's 9:58, so I'm going to try to finish off the beer so that I can drink the whiskey. Canadian's tripod was $20. If I was putting my cell phone on it, that's not a problem. This camera's a lot heavier than my cell phone and stuff, though. So, like the broken tripod, I'm gonna try to, I don't know, I'm gonna try to MacGyver something, but it's still good enough to use for a GoPro or a cell phone, though, because the weight is less. You know, so I can still use it. I'm not putting this on it. Destiny says, people in Palm Springs just knew we were Canadian when we went to the outdoor pool to swim at 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Fair enough. Lipsticks Lodge says her tripods are in the back of her truck under snow. Your truck is a pickup, so those are like literally under snow. Lipstick uses Fahrenheit too. Yeah, well, you know. Hi, Russell.
Hey.
So I thought you were just between satellites there, but I guess not.
This is a more recent thing where it just dies and it doesn't come back. I have to actually go reboot the thing.
Really?
Yeah.
And
that takes a few minutes. I know. As I said, it's a recent thing. I don't know why we do that.
I don't like that. Not for what that thing cost.
I don't like that either.
I'm going to clean my palate between the beer and the whiskey with a little what?
Oh, have you already started yours?
No, not yet. That's what I'm cleaning my palate.
With a little pee.
A little tea.
Sorry, rhymes with pee.
Yeah, but they're not quite the same.
It smells like pee.
Listen, dude, you drink Budweiser. You cannot be honking on me over drinking pee.
I acquiesce.
Acquiesce is an excellent word. There's a couple of people here who are still Fahrenheit-y. Okay, so
I
are you about to tell me that you think in Fahrenheit too?
it's funny at high temperatures I think in terms of Fahrenheit. At low temperatures I think in terms of Celsius.
It's because of cooking.
I think it's because of pool temperatures actually.
I keep hearing that, and my wife is all about Fahrenheit for a pool, and I have never seen like our public pool here gives the temperature in Celsius. She's like, the pools are all in Fahrenheit. I'm like, oh yeah, go to our pool. So there. No, I don't say so there. I don't want to die, but yeah, it's weird. So Vader has 2 tripods, I believe. One that is medium price and one that is treep. Treep. Did I just say treep? I said treep.
You can't. You just got to roll
I just
over
gotta go. I just
things
gotta
like that.
roll. Just gotta roll. That I use in situations where it's more likely to possibly break. Yeah, that's not a bad concept. Look, I may deeply regret my medium price tripod though, right? Like, because it may get shattered in one of the events that have broken my other tripods, in which case I'm going to feel real dumb about it. And I will publicly feel dumb about it because then I will be the warning that you guys need not to spend big on a tripod if you're doing bushcraft and outdoorsy.
And we will mercilessly like gut you for it too. Mercilessly.
I think I've already mentioned that Jennifer didn't camp as a kid. How far behind am I here? Christy didn't camp as a kid either.
I love Jennifer's smiling face in her thumbnail.
Yeah.
That's a great smile.
Yeah. Okay, so Jerry wants to send me one of those little ceramic heaters. I don't know what those little ceramic. Oh, you mean like those little space heaters? I have an oil heater. It's on the top floor right now. You don't like my blankie? I like my blankie. It's very comfortable. But I will tell you something about this blankie. Every now and again, because I get real comfy in this blankie, so I'll be like, I'm happily editing a film. Film is fancy talk for a YouTube video, by the way. And then I will blink, and it'll be an hour later. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go to bed now. That's the blankie magic. Pam says it was 22 degrees down there today. It means you'll have storms tomorrow. Shawnee says, my mother traveled to the USA as a child, which meant she didn't want to take us kids anywhere. She was over it. I grew up in the country, so we set up a tent in the yard. Grandma's had a woods to play in? Jemus? Is Jemus like a short for a... I think she means grandma's had a woods to play in. I wish I had a woods to play around in. You know who's got one? Russell's got a woods to play around in.
Just a few. A few woods.
Yeah, a few woods. Just a couple. Okay. Jennifer says, and camping to me is definitely using something with AC and heat. You see, we're not camping together anytime soon, Jennifer. Because to me, I want, like, I dig a freaking latrine. Dig a hole in the wall.
Jess, I tell you what.
In the earth.
You say that, but I mean, if you ever had a chance to live like me out here, you'd think differently pretty quick.
Well, okay, interesting. This is not reminiscence we're talking about, but it is an interesting point. If I did live off grid, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I would want. In fact, I would probably want to dig a well, which you should do, by the way.
Yeah.
I would want to dig, like I would want to build an outhouse, yeah, absolutely. But the context would be different, right? Because I wouldn't be, like, I think that I would still, go to a corner of the land to do, like, an overnighter to do a YouTube video of. But the escape from my life aspect would not be there. And the escape from my life aspect is part and parcel of digging a hole to take a crap in, right? Sleeping in a freaking hammock, camping hammock, or a tent. It's disconnecting completely from everything. Are you nosing your whiskey? I haven't even touched mine. I'm gonna nose. I'm gonna give it a little nosy nose. Okay.
Okay, I'll start nosing now.
Okay. Ready? And nose. Caramel. Butterscotch. Touch of spice, but not too much. A little bit of an espresso note, but it's struggling to be heard. I said heard.
Gasoline.
Gasoline. Okay. Good. Good.
Muscal.
Muscal. Nice. I get all reminiscent with the muscal smell.
Patchouli.
Okay. Okay. Reminds me of an old girlfriend I had.
Pea.
Why does it always come down to pee with you?
All right, I'm going in.
Oh yeah, right. I gotta go in too.
Or sorry, what did we say? We're taking it to the palate.
Mm.
Scotch meat palate.
Palate meat scotch.
Oh wow. Fuck. Al was right.
You prefer the other one?
Well, Al said to me earlier, you've been drinking all that expensive scotch. This is going to taste like shit. He's right.
So if first thing to try when you're not enjoying a scotch is to drop a rock in it or a drop of water. I think a rock is better because it cools it down. Gives you a little Mad Men action going on, a rock in your whiskey.
I don't know. A rock and engine degreaser is probably not going to help much.
Shawnee is asking Kristen, was it your spouse that introduced you to camping or friends or personal interest? That's an interesting question, because people who get into camping as an adult, what happened? Right? Because, I went, as a kid we camped, but it was straight up car camping, right? In the Air Cadets, I learned about wild camping and survival weekends and stuff and building a lean-to. And if you don't like bugs, spending a weekend in a lean-to will either cure you of that or make you absolutely crazy. But for people who who didn't camp as a kid, is it a spouse thing or is it like a desire for adventure thing? How many people climb a mountain because all they do in their lives is sit in a cubicle? I wonder. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And my wife and I know someone who went and climbed a mountain, who is the least sporty person you could think of, but her brother was going with a group to climb a mountain, and I wonder the same thing about, my dad plays the djembe, right? And he's hooked into a group that plays djembes, but they also have people join who are not accomplished djembe players, but who want to play. And it's the majority of these people are retirement age white ladies, who, are suburban grandmas kind of thing. And I wonder if, because there's something primeval about 6 djembes all hitting the same beat, right? There's the drum, and it's the same thing with the baron, by the way. It's got that same pre-civilization feel to it. There's something about the drum that it's not just time honored. It's primeval, and I wonder, because it pulls at me the same way as it does, all these former housewives, because that's the generation we're talking about, and even the guys who do the Mortise and Tenon podcast. One of them teaches woodworking classes and cabinet making and stuff like that. And whenever he does a class, he asks, who here works in tech or is a lawyer or whatever, and all these hands go up. And it turns out that after asking people, it's I spend all my days writing ones and zeros. I need to do something that feels real. And so I wonder, what are you breaking over there? I'm trying to come across as being all
A
deep
crossbow
and
bolt.
shift. Okay. Um, is it something the same hitting all of these notes, playing the djembe or playing some sort of drum after a lifetime spent in suburbia, you know, building something with wood because all you do is marketing or programming, like all these, camping, coming to camping as an adult rather than growing up with it. I wonder if there's a similarity, if there's a common thread weaving through all these things. This is this kind of stuff that I think about, by the way, guys. This is why I'm no fun at parties, because this is the kind of stuff that lives rent free in my brainy brain. Questions like that.
I'm sure there are other times when you're no fun.
Not many. I'm usually pretty. I can't do it with a straight face.
Deep down in my heart, I know I'm a fun guy.
I'm a fun guy. Squeeze Me is throwing down. Do you think I can hit 30 likes? Oh, I'm at 30 likes, but there are 31 people. Who's not liked? Who the heck? Who didn't like?
Oh, wait, oh no, I did it this time. Ugh. Damn,
Not liking the grants?
I put a rock in there and it's mellowed it a bit, but the first second of taste is okay, but then it kind of hits the
You don't like the
back, the sides of the tongue and the back of your mouth, and it just leaves a real bitter aftertaste.
why don't you try what? Why don't you try throwing some Coke or 7-Up or Sprite or Canada Dry into that? Scotch and soda?
I'm gonna drink it like this.
All right. You have the perfect glass for drinking your whiskey with a rock in it, though. With that glass right there, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
You're all like madman.
See, hold on, I gotta like there.
Well, you got the pinky going and everything, yeah. It's good. I do it like this. Oh wait, like this.
Is that so that you don't warm up the whiskey?
Yeah, yeah. I hold wine the same way. I never hold the globe of a wine glass.
Yeah, you're supposed to hold the stem, right?
Yeah, stem. I'm wondering if Christy answered Shawnee about that. Christy says, "Yeah, we glamp too at my age. We glamp a lot. I mean, because if I'm wild camping, it's great, but I'm not taking my 4-year-old wild camping, right? And my wife does like there to be flush toilets nearby. And with kids, I also like there to be flush toilets. If we're doing like a family camping trip, I'm not going to complain if we go to a campground. Absolutely not. Because even at a campground, I can still have my eldest daughter practice her fire lay, practice, her ferro rod action, We can still do the knife and axe stuff. So I'm not really giving up that much. What I like about the wild camping is the solitude, because I need solitude like I need oxygen. I'm sold on my family. I'm sold on my friends. But I need solitude sometimes. I don't know if somebody's not going to get my attention or not, so I'm just going to mute and stop my camera for a second. So Russ will be hilarious, okay?
Okay, yeah. I think glamping is a great way to start. Roughing it. Say you think you might want to camp. Try glamping, or car camping is I don't know though. Car camping is generally you go to a campground. That's one thing that we did when I was a kid. Every summer we go to in Ontario it was like Killbear, and there was another one that we would go to. Pretty much the same sort of thing. It's like, here's your spot, here's the next spot, here's your neighbor's spot. All the way along. Car camping, because you could drive right up to the spot, pull out all your crap, and throw down your tent and stuff like that. I've had people ask me the same sort of question, like, like in regards to me living here at my cabin, they'd say, "Oh, I'd love to do this, but my spouse would never be into it."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you've heard the same thing for people saying that, for people talking about camping, right? Oh, I'd love to
Yeah.
do it more, but my spouse would never do it. And and maybe it's just how you introduce them to it.
But do you think that you think there's ever a time when it's too late?
No,
No.
well, for like wilderness camping, there
Yeah.
probably is,
Yeah.
but for no, I guess there you can say that about anything, though, right? If you're 80 years
Yes.
old, don't buy a property and try and build an off-grid cabin like I did.
Fair. Very fair. Absolutely. I get that. Yeah, that's
But
true.
I can do this at 53. I could have done this at 63. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sean James must be getting up there, and he's still a going concern.
I think he's the same age as you.
Is he?
Yeah.
Huh. But I make it look good. Yep.
We needed the music right there.
Yeah.
The mhm.
Um, Canadian says, I'm getting old. Camping involves a cot, air mattress, and a good sleeping bag. A good sleeping bag is a requirement. Absolutely. What does peanut
You
tucker?
you know what? You got to be comfortable.
Yeah, you have to be comfortable. We hiked the Appalachian Trail for a week with church. I would like to
Nice.
see the Appalachian. I don't want to be a through hiker because I know this stage of life that I'm at. Also, I have plantar fasciitis, so that much hiking fills me with dread. But I would like to hike part of the Appalachian Trail at some point. And
Me
it's funny
too.
because, yeah, you too.
Yeah.
I'd love to, you know, I guess if I'm hiking the Appalachian, I have to do it in miles, right? Um,
Hmm.
and it's funny because the Appalachian Trail is not different. Like the northern part is not all that different from where I live, right? The Appalachians sort of go right up into les Appalaches and into like mountains here in Quebec. It's New York State and Quebec and Vermont all look the same, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of that trail really morphs from one end down to the other. So it has some people start in the south and go north. Some people start in the north and go south. Like I don't know even what part of it I would want to hike.
I'd love to do the whole thing.
You wanted to like through hike?
Yeah.
I guess maybe I feel that I'm at an age where I can't do things, and maybe that's BS. Maybe that's a terrible way to look at life. But I'm trying to sort of cut out certain bucket list things so that I can actually throw my energy behind certain other things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I doubt that I'd ever actually have the opportunity to do so, but I think
Just want to see it.
I like a good hike.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Absolutely, me too. Um, excuse me. Golden Ears Manning Park in Jasper. I've been to Jasper, but I haven't carped it. Okay, I haven't camped it yet. Used to go off grid all the time. Manning Park, man, subalpine trails. That's what started me down the road to starting a bushcraft channel. Years and years later, I was like 16, and it just the subalpine meadows. We were on a tour. I've told this story on the channel before, but excuse me, I don't know if you were around before when I told the story. So some of you, I will be boring. I will do it as quickly as possible. We're camping. My dad says, "Hey, there's a tour of the subalpine trails tomorrow. Do you guys want to go?" I'm like a 16-year-old kid. I don't give a crap. We're camping. Yeah, it's fine. But I'm sort of that irritating dude when I was at like in my late teens, early 20s. I was one of those guys who read like Jean-Paul Sartre because it made me more interesting to the blue-eyed girl who worked at the cafe kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I was
What?
horrible. I was self-indulgent. I happened inside my own head. I read books rather than speaking to people. I wrote poetry. Well, I ended up as a published a poet for a while there, and got a girlfriend through it. So whatever. But like, like, it was so. The only thing that was missing was the Gauloise. You know what I'm saying? So
I have
we're
no idea
camping.
what that is.
Gauloise, they're French cigarettes. Like all the poets I knew here
Okay.
in Quebec for the longest time, like the 20-year-olds. If they didn't roll their own because their poetry teacher did, then they were smoking the Gauloise. So I'm that age, right? So we're camping and I'm that age. So I've got my books and my notebooks, and I'm all about myself. And we go on this tour, and the park ranger she's got to be like 20 something, like just out of university kind of thing. And I don't remember what she looked like. I remember the uniform because I like that kind of job, so the uniforms always sort of stand out to me. But man, I remember her voice. Whew. And I remember at one point there was a gray jay that sort of fluttered off with something in its mouth, and she's like, "Did somebody feed that bird?" And we're like, "No." And she said, "Okay." But she's droning on about plants because she said, "Here's where I get to geek out. I'm actually a biologist," and so she's droning on about the plants, some plant, I don't remember what, but I do remember looking down into there was a bowl valley. It's funny because I remember almost nothing from before the age of about 25, but certain things I do remember. Um, and I remember looking down at this bowl valley, and at the bottom of this valley, there's a huge herd of some kind of ungulate. And like they're far enough down that in my memory they just look like an ink stain on the bowl of the valley, but they probably didn't. Right? Memory is funny that way. But what I do remember is, as they were all slowly moving, they were following the contours of the valley. So to me, it looked like this weird stain that was just like, and that's the moment. It wasn't clear to me at the time, but that's the moment that I see as having, like, it wasn't like this thunderstruck, or anything, because
Hmm.
I had already been the type who, when I look at the mountains, had mountain green and brown and blah, and then mountain lighter green and brown, and then like mountain until they sort of turn into this lighter and lighter blue kind of thing, and they go away. That, and if you look at a sky full of huge billowy white clouds and they just go off into the future, I'm the type who always wants to see what's behind the last cloud. I always sort of have this yearning to see what's behind the last mountain, you know? So I was primed for the moment that happened, seeing this herd of something, elk, caribou maybe. Out there was probably elk, or whatever it was, just something that happened in big herds at the time, or now, moving, and just that sort of snowballed into me turning into the freaking tree hugger I am today. All bushcrafty and loving the forest. And that story counts because it's a reminiscence. It's a reminiscence.
Okay, then.
Camping with my family. Who the hell asked me a question that sent me down that boring ass line of discussion?
That wasn't boring.
I don't remember. Oh, maybe it was probably excuse me because, yeah. And I'm sure that the subalpine meadows were Manning Park. I'm certain of it. We did a lot of camping Manning. We did a lot of camping in Golden Years. Manning Park went through some troubles in later years. Going off grid in BC, you need to hike in and out with everything. Yep, that does not surprise me. But man, the views is worth it, man. You're halfway up a mountain in BC or Alberta. Holy crap, dude. Whew. Nothing beats it. Perrier on the rocks tonight. Earl Grey tomorrow for Smokin' Joe. All right. Destiny's got it all planned out. She knows. She's like, tonight it's going to be Perrier on the rocks. Tomorrow Smokin' Joe is going on. It's tea time. I like
What's
it.
Thursday?
Yeah. What's? Yeah.
I mean, we know what Friday is, but
Yeah,
what's
of course.
Thursday?
Al is being rude. He says, "Everyone cheer that Russell has finally shaved that pathetic beard."
Oh, you're really far behind.
Yeah, I'm very far behind because I keep getting distracted by my own silly stories.
He said,
Jess King has used Celsius for so long that it's hard to convert to F. Yeah, that's because,
you're 25 minutes behind, Jess.
at 25 minutes?
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, I'm going to just, sorry guys, except I'm going to say hi to Whiskey Harbor. How's it going, Whiskey? Oh, man, yeah, I'm way behind. Thank you, Bruce Peninsula. That's what I was talking about. Oh, man, I am very behind. Oh, Peter, hi. Russ, is that a rock or a deuce?
I don't know what he means by deuce, but it was a rock.
I think it was one rock versus two. I gotta skip down to the bottom. I hope I don't miss anyone who's popped in. Oh man, I'm scrolling a lot.
Uh-huh.
Oh, look who's here. Hey, Jim.
Jim.
Hey, Jim. How's it
You
going?
driving, Jim?
You driving or are you home? So, interesting thing. If I went camping, if ever we're a 2-car household again, I'd like to drive out to Russell's place and do the camping, somewhere on his acres. Because I do like a road trip. I like a road trip. I like, I get in, I put in something long to listen to. If it's not an album, then maybe it's a podcast. Yeah. Do any of you guys know Hardcore History with Carlin? Not George. What the hell? Dan Carlin? Hardcore History. Do any of you know that? Every episode is like 6 hours long. And every episode is extremely late. Like, he's like, we're going to have the next one out in October. And then it pops out in like January kind of thing. I think it's Dan Carlin. Do you listen to a lot of podcasts, Russell?
Nope.
Dan Carlin, yeah. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. I'm listening to one right now. I'm 45 minutes in. I have only 4.5 hours left to go. Driving to like freaking New Brunswick or Quebec, the Gaspé, it's a 10-hour drive kind of thing. I just put in something and go. I like it, especially if I'm not alone. I like it when my family's all asleep, and I could just listen to something. So like whenever like SV is driving at this hour of the night, I think of that, some road trips I've gone on, like long stuff where I've just got whatever I want on the sound system and I'm, going down the dark highway, nothing but a pool of light in front of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do audiobooks.
Audiobooks. I'm doing audiobooks now. Right now I'm using Audible. Sounds like an advert. Because I was trying to listen to the Silmarillion because I've started reading it many times, but I just can't get through it. So I figured that listening would get me through it. It's gotten me a lot further in. But I have both read and listened to this and the Kephart book. Wait, no, this is the Kephart, the Nesmith book. But yeah, for me, like audiobooks and podcasts and stuff, it's driving stuff. It's not like if I'm doing dishes or whatever, I've got YouTube's on or something. But if I'm in transit, it's podcasts or audiobooks. Hold on a second. Oh, what did you just put something up?
No, you'll get there.
Okay. Starting with my two boys. Don't know who's going to be more scared, me or them. We have some tough cats in my neighborhood.
Tough cats.
Cats. Jennifer says I can camp on their acres on the lake. Sounds nice.
In Florida?
That'd be hot. Hot. Jim and Tori did an awesome trip to Newfoundland. I love Tori Bear. I think she does great stuff with like her canoe classes for women and stuff. I think she's doing great stuff. I think all the Bairds, I love watching all their stuff. So many Bairds, though, doing outdoorsy things. Has anyone noticed it's like there's a million Bairds? I think it's only 4 of them, but it feels sometimes like there's like a million Bairds out there in the woods. Out in a hike, you're going to hit a Baird somewhere, you know? Al is now watching Buttman. It's okay, you can look at my butt.
Hi, stranger.
I don't know. Should I pour one more whiskey for the night? What time are we at?
10:30.
I got time
There
to
you go.
finish off one other little drum. Another little drum. So I'm partway through on my other channel, and this has nothing to do with nostalgia, so I'm going to make it fast. On my other channel one night, I was watching a bigger channel's live stream, and I sort of half-jokingly said, hey, I should do a video outlining my entire collection. And they said, yes, you should. And so I shot that this weekend. And it's embarrassing how many bottles I have. And the video is long. It's too long. I'm cutting it down. Why am I mentioning that? There was a reason. I was going somewhere and it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. Never mind. Forgot about it. Oh. Linda says.
There he is. In all his glory.
There he is in all his glory.
Hi, stranger.
Oh, that was you. I thought you were starting to play it.
No, that's just a picture. But I'll leave that in the green room for you.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Linda says, learned how to make toast on a wood stove from a YouTube vid today. Put bread on a piece of paper towel on the wood stove. Interesting. You know, holy crap, I haven't thought about this in years. I just remember making flapjacks. Nobody calls them flapjacks. What the hell?
I was going to say.
It's because I'm thinking about, like, I was doing it on one of those old wood burning stoves with, like, the circular things you can pop off, you know? You know those circle plates that, you know, you put a handle in, you take them off. And so since they're, you know, old, I was making flapjacks. But, like, you used to be able to cook directly on the tops of those. You know, you'd throw a little fat down. Some people would spit on them, but yuck.
No.
I just had this flash of doing that.
They'd be hard to clean.
They were. But I didn't clean them. I just let someone else do that. Jim and Tori are not far from Linda, apparently. Apparently, I can also go camping in Arizona if I want to. You know, there's some place in Arizona where people can go and rent a very small plot of land for, I think it's 99 years or something, for the specific purpose of sticking a tripod up. It's like this chunk of land. A lot of people, it's a dark sky spot, and if you want to see terrific stargazing and planet watching and stuff, Arizona is pretty damn close to ideal. And I don't remember where this place is. I read about it in an astronomy magazine, and a lot of Canadian amateur astronomers rent. And when I say plot of land, I don't mean you're building. I mean you have a specific place right next to, you know, someone else to put your telescope. And no matter when you go there, you know you got a place for your telescope. I'm a fool for a good telescope and a nice night of stargazing. So,
You reminded me of something I keep forgetting to do.
but the thing is, if I'm gonna start spending that kind of money, then I'm gonna buy the canoe first. You know. Jim has been listening to Les Stroud's Sasquatch Chronicles. I don't know if it I don't know why he did the Sasquatch series. I personally am a Sasquatch skeptic in a massive way. And I feel that his whole Sasquatch thing is sort of reduced. I don't know. No, I'm not going to go there. But no, I haven't spent much time with it. I started, but no. I do listen to his podcast sometimes, where Surviving Life with Les
Okay.
Stroud, because he interviews some really interesting people. But you know,
Okay.
is that a doggy? You got a
Got a hair?
doggy there? Is that dog licking
She,
something?
well, she might have like a hair in her mouth or something.
Oh, so she's okay.
She's that. You
Yeah.
good? You happy? What are you
Kristen
doing?
said we camped with a couple of times with the American Legion, but decided we didn't want the tent and bought a travel trailer. Like that so much better. Fair enough. I didn't know camping with the Legion was a thing. I've never camped with the Legion. We've played at a Royal Canadian Legion, um, whatever they're called, outlet? No, branch, a few times. You know, we've palled around with those guys, but we've never. Look at that! Talking about nostalgia, I just bought one of those augers for a new bushcrafting trip I'm planning. Nice. Did you get one of the Amazon ones, or did you get a good one? I have a fear, by which I mean I believe that perhaps maybe the main problem there was me not knowing how to use them, plus me trying to do the wrong thing with them. So I'm gonna practice that a little bit more once the weather gets dry, by which I mean warm, Jesse, and then I'll do another video. Yeah, I, country boy, I think I may be with you on that.
Oh, I see.
Like, I don't know if he was just doing a money grab or if he's an actual believer, but I feel it might have been the money. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy whiskey. Hey, I'm caught up. Nice. So, how many of you guys do like? I'm doing this whole episode about nostalgia, about the outdoors and stuff. But like, a couple of you have made some really cool comments. But like, I've spoken to some people in the past who are like, I don't do nostalgia. I never think back. Like, nothing just sort of pops up in your head sometimes. I don't dwell on it. Like, are any of you guys that type who don't allow the nostalgia to get a foothold? Like, it's
Nos-
nostalgia. I'm not going to say
nostalgia,
anything until you're finished.
nostalgia can be weird. It's not necessarily like a great memory, right? It's just
I sort of, to me, nostalgia is the warm memories of the way things used to be, and the non-warm memories are just straight up PTSD. It's not funny. It's terrible.
I don't know. I have nostalgic. I get nostalgic about working on the farm for the 2 summers I was there, but there was nothing particularly nice about it. It was hard work. It was a tough time. It was some tough lessons that I learned, and there was a guy there that bullied me like all the time.
Yeah. See, if there's a guy bullying you on a farm, you got to go all. What the hell is that classic American novel? Guy with the glove on his hand all the time. Grapes of Wrath. Take him down. But you know, like, I guess you're right. And like, the reminiscence I have about my first summer job, well, first 5 summer jobs, I guess, because I did carpentry, right, out in Vancouver. And the work itself, I have no memory of. Like, I have flashes, you know, getting blown off a ladder by an electrical charge, for instance. The nostalgia I have was the feeling of falling into bed at the end of a long freaking day with a full body exhaustion, like physical, not an intellectual exhaustion like I have by the time 4:30 hits every single day, but like a physical exhaustion. Like, I have earned the right to lie down in this bed, and I just get into bed under the covers, and it was the best feeling in the world. And then, like, I could feel my consciousness just draining. That I'm I'm gonna start again. That I'm reminiscent about, because that was a terrific feeling, and it was that feeling was due to long hours of hard freaking labor. I also, man, the smell of sawdust. Really, like I love the smell of sawdust, and that reminiscence works in how I think I've told you, Russell, how that's why I started really watching Sean James. It was because of the way he held his measuring tape, like the way he held his measuring tape. I'm like, this guy's worked in construction. I didn't know anything about this guy. The first episode I really sat down and watched, because like I knew that he was getting big because he, somebody had just put the time lapse of his build on one of those American shows that I never watched, the daytime TV. Was it Ellen or something? Right. So I knew that everyone was watching him, and I'm stupid and stubborn. It's like if everyone's doing something, I'm not gonna do it. But I decided, excuse me, I had watched Dick Proenneke over and over again, and I got the feeling that this guy might be a sort of a modern day Dick Proenneke. And I was like 15 minutes in, because I liked, oh, he's building something. That's cool. And, I like log cabins and stuff. But, man, he was measuring something. And just, like, the way he held the tape in his hand and did all the tricks. I was like, this guy has been working in construction for over 20 years. And it's just like something in the way he held that gave me a massive feeling of nostalgia. Gave me a real warmth towards him, as not him personally, because I don't know this guy from Shinola, but it made me want to watch the rest of his building process, and so I watched everything for the longest time. These days, I have very little time to watch anything, but I really try to sort of.
Did you ever tell him this?
No, he doesn't know who the hell I am.
Hey, Sean, I really like how you hold your measuring tape.
I'm your biggest fan.
I like when it goes in and out. You ever hold it with your left hand?
You're such a butt, man. Such a butt, man. The butt, man. I was going to go somewhere that I stopped myself. I remember like those couch seats, the front seat of a car that went all the way across.
Bench seats.
Yeah, bench seats. A stick shift. What's it called? Like tree? Was it 3 on the tree rather than 4 on the floor? I remember those. Yeah. Shawnee says, my dad and grandfather were woodworkers. I was always playing in the shop. Sawdust is a happy smell. Yep, for me too, man. Sawdust is a very happy smell. Absolutely. I love it. Seeing where we are. You okay? You sound a little creaky there, Russell.
It's my butt, man. my butt, man.
Oh God, we're a couple of children.
No, I got sciatica or something.
Oh, do you? Oh,
gotta keep trying to stretch it out, Mm-hmm. Stretch out that measuring tape.
Look.
Hey, Skip.
Hi, Skip.
Hey, there's Chuck and Annie.
Yep, they were here earlier. I don't know why you guys who were here earlier are still watching. It's like the quality of the live stream is like, woo! We're down to 30 people. Yeah. Some people are like, oh, this Jesse guy.
This grandma.
Stories.
Grandma Jess.
I kind of feel like I should be.
You should get it. Oh, that's wonderful.
I like my blanket.
You should get a wood stove.
I should, but I live in Montreal, so there's a ban on forever.
Well, just keep the smoke in the house.
Excellent idea.
That way they can't tell.
Yep, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Homie says the internet at work sucks. Keep having to skip forward. Gonna have to go back and watch this. Yeah, I hate it when the I was about to say something stupid. I was going to say I hate it when the internet work sucks, but I have not worked at a place with sucky internet in a long time. So I'm just going to shut up.
I currently work at a place that has sucky internet.
Yes, you do. That's the satellite magic. Nostalgia is good when you remember it one way or until your sibling reminds you of those other parts you totally forgot about. Yeah, well, there is that. But like, for reasons I'm not going to tell you guys about, like, I have very few memories of before a certain age, like almost nothing. I just have flashes, right? And one of the flashes I have is it was night, like it was dark out. We were living in one of those old places that had like a heating thing standing in the hallway. And I'm walking past my sister's room, and I don't know why her little lamp was on, but her lamp was on. She was sitting on her bed with her little stuffies, and I sort of looked and she said, "Shh, we're having peace." And I have nothing else from that memory. I have nothing before or after. I don't know what I did after. I have no idea if we had a conversation. Nothing. So, like, to me, nostalgia isn't always, like, sometimes it's like, boom, something like a vision in my head. And sometimes it's just like a fleeting, like, not even a full feeling, something like a wisp. You know, like you blow too hard and poof, it's gone kind of thing. And I wonder what nostalgia feels like to other people sometimes because of that. Like, if everyone gets nostalgia the same way, or if it's a unique experience for every single person kind of thing.
Right.
Russell's adjusting the tag on his glasses.
Yeah. That's sticking out. It was bugging me a bit.
Yeah. Obviously not too much, though, since it's still sitting there on your glasses.
Well, no,
I got to get new glasses, man.
Gosh, everybody take a shot. Yeah, it's not the first time you've talked about getting new glasses.
But I did go to get my eyes checked, so stage 1 is done.
Dude.
Hey, dude.
I gotta make an appointment to get my ears checked.
Oh, do you? Yeah, I kind of do as well.
Yeah, because they're not sure that there's anything in between them.
Hey, how's the frostbite, by the way? Oh,
it's
that's not what.
better. It's peeling now.
Nice.
So I just put a little peanut butter on there and get Willow to lick it.
Gross. Russell needs a happy baby yoga pose. Quick drop on the floor, lay on your back, and bring knees. Grab your big toes, hold it for. Oh, this is for your sciatica?
I refuse to believe that quick drop is part of that yoga pose, Shawnee, because that sounds like it'll hurt.
Yeah, that does sound like it might hurt. Up. Looks to me like Jennifer's out. All right, good night. See you next Tuesday.
See you, Jennifer.
Yeah. Yeah, Shawnee, I'm going to. I have to call to whatever. You guys have no idea what my business hours are like. It's awful. It's awful. Like, by the time 4:30 hits, I'm done. But I still have to, get one kid from daycare and make supper and stuff. But like, oh. So I sit down to edit a video and I'm out. But yeah. I will try to do that to make an appointment during tomorrow's lunchtime. I think I just knocked my mic. Can't knock the mic.
Don't touch the mic, man.
Don't touch the mic.
There's no clicking right now.
So we're not going to touch the mic.
Yeah, don't move either.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe. Don't breathe.
Don't breathe.
Breathe through your toes.
breathe like a frog does, right through their skin. Is that it? Is that real, or is that like an urban legend, or
That's the first time I've heard of it.
that they breathe through their skin? Frogs.
Yeah.
Oh, Jennifer has to get up at 4 a.m. Yuck.
Ew. I wouldn't do it.
No, me neither. I hate getting up before the sun. I do it, but I don't like it. It makes me grumpy.
Only in the winter, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you think I'm going to get up before the sun during the summer? That's early.
Yeah, in the winter
In the
it's
morning.
difficult to. I mean, I only get up when it's light out. Doesn't matter what time of year, but
That sounds amazing to me. Jim says, I was just thinking about when I was younger and camped on an island in the middle of a river. I remember it being so much bigger. I just visited 2 weeks ago. It is so narrow. It's amazing how memory can really play with you that way. Yeah.
that sounds. Jim, that sounds amazing. By the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look who here. Bettina. It must be like 9 minutes to 11. Oh my God, it's 9 minutes to 11. I don't believe it.
You could set your watch.
How's it going, Bettina?
It's like, oh damn, my watch is a minute on.
I just ordered a watch. For years, the only watch I could use, before cell phones, was like a pocket watch because doesn't matter why, but I get really, really freaked out having anything on my wrists. But I've decided, okay, I'm gonna do this watch thing.
I get a watch story for 9 minutes from now.
Okay.
I mean, if we actually ended at 11, it's a funny story. Wait, I'm gonna pour another scotch.
Okay.
Because remember that one night I was drinking the blue, and then just suddenly it's like, this is really good. So we're gonna try it.
The thing is, like, I'm surprised that you're really hating on the Grants. I think it's because you came at it from a single malt, a 12-year-old single malt. But like, I mean, Grants is very popular for. Look, it's old school, right? I mean, the blue is old school as well, but it's old school. It's Grandpa's Scotch, right?
Let's be honest. Christy probably drinks this, so right.
Why you gotta be insulting my viewers, man? But I do know what Christy drinks, and it's
my viewer, not your viewer.
Tonight, mine.
Christy, she's mine.
Saw a flying spider when I was 4, then realized it was a daddy long-legged flying insect. Weird.
Yeah, they exist. I'm not sure what they're called. I've seen them.
I thought they were like the male mosquitoes, aren't they?
Yeah, they look like huge mosquitoes.
Yeah. Yeah. Homie, I know exactly what knife that is. They're really nice. I mean, I'm not buying more knives right now, but yeah, they're really nice.
Didn't we talk about that?
I'm just assuming I missed something a little further up. Pam's out. Pam Bergman says, you guys have a great night. Enjoyed the camping nostalgia very much. Thanks for hanging out, Pam. I feel the power of nostalgia is huge. I get the same, like, so, okay. Opening week of Star Wars, I was 7. That movie pinned my ears to the wall. And I feel that every time I watch a Star Wars film or hear the beginning of that music, I'm trying to recapture that feeling. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the feeling of like, man, what had I seen before then? Disney cartoons kind of thing. And then there's this, because that film was a big event for me. And I feel that I watch everything Star Wars because part of me is trying to recapture that feeling. And maybe that's what nostalgia is. It's trying to recapture like whenever I go to the woods, I'm trying to recapture that feeling or something. I don't know. Does that make sense?
That's interesting. Like some nostalgia for me is just it's just a memory, like maybe a warm memory. Mm-hmm. But I have a similar feeling when it's also one of the reasons why I like Neil Diamond so much, actually. But But
Sweet
like my
Caroline.
my strongest and most powerful nostalgia, and if I could, I would recreate it all day long just to listen to it. Is from the days when we had a cottage. My grandparents had a cottage, and just the way water laps up against a boat, especially in a boathouse,
Mm-hmm.
it's just the sound of the lap lap lap, and it's like, oh my god, it hits
Mm-hmm.
me like a mound of cheese. And also seeing water downhill through trees.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. Okay.
visual and a audio one.
I could really go for some cheese right now.
A mound of cheese.
Yeah, that water lapping against. Let's start again. That water lapping against the side of a boat thing is that's a very evocative moment because I can see that happening. Right. I've never been in a boathouse. Like my family, there was never a boathouse. There was like a dock sometimes or whatever, but like the boats always belong to the neighbor. But like there, I know exactly the sound you're talking about from country houses, but also from like the yacht club where I used to sail out of when I was crewing on someone else's yacht. Um,
Jess, I sorry, I haven't been in a boathouse in like 43 years.
yeah,
Can you believe it? But continue.
it's funny because I would like to have a boathouse at some point because I have this image of what a boathouse could be like, and I have an image of what a boathouse is most likely like. Like it's my mother-in-law has a little shed, with stuff in it, and like when someone says boathouse, I have an image in my mind, and then I think of what a shed looks like inside, and just put water and a boat. You know, this is not making sense. I'm trying to say something, but it's too nebulous in my head for it to come out as a real concrete. Like a boathouse. If a boathouse appears in Dwell magazine, they've done some work on it, right? There's probably a freaking couch in there, and the walls are all like stained
Yeah.
and lacquered and stuff, right? And then there's the boathouse that is probably more realistic, where it's just kind of dusty and there's a boat in there, and then there's oars up against the wall and some
Yeah.
dusty life jackets hanging in the corner, kind of thing.
Yep.
And I would like to think that if I ever had a property with a boathouse, I would turn it into the Dwell magazine boathouse and spend time there. Like have my YouTube studio in there, all my scotches.
I like that idea.
Mm. Scotch.
Here it goes down into my belly.
Go for that cheese. Maybe I'll go a little later. No, Destiny, I have not had cheese yet. Yeah, and Bettina showed up way before 10:59.
Okay, wait. Can I skip forward here for a sec?
Yeah, because I'm
Because
probably like, what?
lots of spiders and boathouses, and it's interesting to note that the boathouse that my grandparents had, my grandfather built it himself, and
Oh,
he wasn't a
cool.
carpenter by trade. He also built 2 cottages on the property. Um, but the boathouse itself was actually kind of scary because there were spiders in it. So I have this wonderful nostalgic memory that I'd love to recreate all day long. But the
Mhm.
boathouse was scary. Is that weird?
That makes sense, actually. It makes sense. I mean, we build this nostalgic ideal of something that we have fond memories of, and then it's like, oh yeah, but it always smelled of mold or whatever. But we sort of that part doesn't
Oh
survive into the
yes.
nostalgia.
Oh yeah. There was always a little bit of a moldy smell in the cottage as well.
Yeah.
I loved it. I just absolutely. But you know what? I think the nostalgic memory isn't just being in the boathouse. The nostalgic memory brings me back to the days when we were at the cottage, You know, and
Yeah.
I was out in the boat every day, you know, rowing here, rowing there, and my mother yelling out from the cottage, "Russell, put on your life jacket!" It was like every cottage on the bay could.
Yeah. But yeah, and I think that the thing about nostalgia is it doesn't. The hell? Let's put that back in the box. Um, it doesn't come out of nowhere, right? Like there's always an experience associated with it. I spent every day out on the lake, kind of thing, or I spent every day fishing down Poor Man's Creek, or like there's a warm memory associated in a more general sense. I feel because otherwise, why would the image of boathouse mean anything to us? Oh, that's an energetic pour.
Cheers.
Yeah, I'll drink that one slowly. Hold on, I'll cheers you in a second. Let me put that
Sorry,
in
what
there.
are you drinking anyway?
Blue.
Oh,
Al's here. I'm drinking blue.
he's gone. He left.
Oh, he left? Then why am I still drinking blue? I keep the blue for when Al's around.
Well, he'll watch this tomorrow.
Excuse me, says I should look at the boathouses on Granville Island. Man, I haven't been to Granville Island in lots of years, but I used to spend a lot of time down there. I loved that little spot. Granville Island, the whole Falls Creek thing. I used to spend a lot of time at Stanley Park, walking the boardwalk or the seawall. We used to live. We used to live. I didn't used to live anywhere. I spent half my year in Montreal and half my year in North Vancouver. But my dad, I guess, lived within walking distance of the Lonsdale Quay. So my sister and I'd walk down, take the sea bus across to Vancouver. Oh, man, if we're going to talk about reminiscence, wow. But yeah, Falls Creek, Granville Island, all that stuff was... All those houseboats, man. All those houseboats. There's a real magic to a houseboat, I find. We're at 11:02. How many people we still got watching? 25? Excuse me. Yeah, some people are starting to say goodnight and cheers and all that stuff. So we're going to shut her down for this week. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out. I did manage. What? What kind of accent is that? I did manage to keep us almost on track for the whole live stream tonight. Gonna call that a win. I will come up with a similarly fantabulous theme for the next live stream. So between now and then, everybody, please be healthy, be safe, be sane, and be kind to one another.
MP soup.